Welcome back to the Suzuka 250 of the 2016 GEARS season. Here we have Dan Thorn catching very quickly his teammate Tom Bellingham. See there, Dan Thorn in his signature black and yellow scheme. Tom Bellingham going for kind of a golf livery on his car. Here we have Dan Thorn catching now very quickly to Tom Bellingham. Now these two always have great battles, as we've seen throughout the seasons, and it looks like he's going to have a cheeky little look here into the spoon curve. Not quite close enough. He decides he wants to actually try and get the ideal line through here and see if he can make a run down to 130R. We've seen brave overtakes there before in real life and in sim racing, so looks like Dan Thorn, who says he loves to go for the more spectacular overtake than the easy one, and in fact he is going to go for it now here. They're side by side. It looks like he's going to get the move done even before 130R. Tom Bellingham is going to have to yield to him there. Does know he's actually gone around the outside and taken to the runoff there, but surely he's going to have to yield that position. No, he's actually gone straight back onto the grass, cutting the grass sorry there through, and he's kept the position. And Dan Thorn's going to have to try and find another way by it if Tom Bellingham doesn't actually give that position. I don't think Dan Thorn will actually mind that he's retained the position that way, because he kind of did force him off a little bit there, running him out wide. But he's got looking here into turn one. They're almost side by side. It's going to have to be who's bravest on the brakes, and it looks like Tom Bellingham is the one who's braver on the brakes, as Dan Thorn kind of decides not to go through with that there. Tom Bellingham locking up there a bit, but he gets a good exit now here into this. You can't really pass here unless the car in front makes a complete hash of things, so Dan Thorn's just going to have to be a little patient now as he stalks his teammate, trying to find his way up into 11th position. Of course, this is an even for the points, but although it may be in case one of the drivers ahead drops out, this is endurance racing and you never give up until the final second of the final lap. And Tom Bellingham has made a little bit of an error there through Dunlop, but Dan Thorn took a tight line there, so a bit slower through there and isn't able to capitalise on Bellingham's slight error through there. But again, he makes slight error, goes too wide through Degner 1, has to go over the rumble strip there, and has arrested his momentum a bit. But Dan Thorn just closing just a little bit. Obviously Degner 2 is even less of a traditional overtaking spot, and Dan Thorn is actually going to probe around the outside of the hairpin. Looks like he's going to switch back a little to try and get late apex and see if he can get some momentum going and possibly hound Bellingham into spoon and force him into making a mistake perhaps. And he's very close to him now. Is he going to go? He's going to go for the inside. He lunges down at the inside of spoon. Not often you see that, but it's gone a bit too wide, and looks like Tom Bellingham there, as Dan Thorn struggles to slow down, locking up his tyres there. Tom Bellingham retakes the position, although has that left him a bit compromised for the long straight to 130R, and we might see a repeat of what happened last lap. Although Dan Thorn isn't quite as close this time, he might have a cheeky little move. Yes, he just has a little look out there, but not close enough really, not much of a break into 130R. But Tom Bellingham has gone a bit too wide, and Dan Thorn streams past him now and going to go into what used to be known as the Casio Triangle chicane, and Tom Bellingham takes the grass, trying to cut the inside of the corner there, maybe a bit too eager to get round. But let's see if Dan Thorn can now pull away from Tom Bellingham, having made the move and having made it stick. Although Tom Bellingham was right under his rear wing, so he could strike back straight into turn one. That is the best thing to do if you've been overtaken. Don't let the car ahead get ahead of him, and lunges straight into turn one. It's gone a bit too deep though, and Dan Thorn's going to come down the inside there. This is the third lap now that these two are battling. Oh, Dan Thorn just gets a little squibbly there on the exit of turn two, and that allows Tom Bellingham hang around the outside, which becomes the inside for the next corner, which is now the outside of the next corner. This is thrilling stuff, side by side through the S's. Neither of them, are going to give up any ground here. Each inside line becomes the outside line, and vice versa for the next corner. But it looks like Tom Bellingham must hang on through those S's as they go into Dunlop yet again, so close to each other. And Tom Bellingham lifts the fight, maybe just, well, he's not even got any time to breathe here now, because Dan Thorn is right on him again. No way through the Degs, and obviously just got to get a good line there. Maybe hope to pressure your rival into a mistake. We've seen a few of those from Tom Bellingham there, so maybe he hasn't quite got the pace of Dan Thorn, but he's able to stick it right back to him when he can. And Dan Thorn's got much better line through there. It breaks really late, trying to go around the outside of the hairpin. Almost tries to cut back on Tom Bellingham, but he occupies the space where Dan Thorn wanted to be. Tries to take that late apex again, but Tom Bellingham was a bit too wise for that, and he arrests the momentum of Dan Thorn and prevents him from taking a better line. But he has actually got a bit better speed there, so maybe slightly better straight line there speed from Dan Thorn, although a repeat of that wonderful manoeuvre in spoon we saw a few laps ago wasn't to be repeated, and he's actually made a bit of a mess of it. Ben Russell there has actually unlapped himself from Dan Thorn. Of course, he's on the leader, so he's still on the same lap. But now Dan Thorn has got to take the car, re-lap with Ben Russell in order to be able to have another go at Tom Bellingham. Thought he was going to make a little move into there, but decided to be a little bit more wise. Of course, there's no pressure for Ben to just jump out of the way. He is running his own race, but you'll think if there is a little move, then he'll be more than courteous to get out of the way of these two. He must surely know that these two are their own private battle. But actually, it looks like he is unlapping himself from Tom Bellingham there. So there we go, and Tom Bellingham's gone really wide there during that sequence, and Dan Thorn's close right up to him again. This could be another thrilling side-by-side battle. NCS indeed, it looks like it's going to be. Dan Thorn has got the outside line, but has kind of got the momentum. Now he's got the inside line, and he's made the move stick on Tom Bellingham. Can he now this time pull ahead from his teammate, or is Ben Russell going to interfere with them in the battle between these two? Because it doesn't look like he's streaming away from them too great a rate, so maybe he just had a good lap there, and the other two maybe suffering a bit of graining on their tyres, but they'll come back to them and maybe retake put the Ben Russell down a lap again. And now look at them, all three of them now in the line. Dan Thorn really wants to get past Ben Russell here. He's going to go straight down the hairpin. Yep, you can see that coming a mile off, and it looks like he's going to allow Tom Bellingham through again. Yep, so back down Ben Russell goes, and these two are free again to have a little fight, although Dan Thorn's got a bit of distance now on Tom Bellingham, so Tom Bellingham's going to have to put in a good lap to see if he can challenge his teammate and take back that 11th place away. Another scruffy entry to Spoon there. Dan Thorn's done that a few times now, so maybe struggling a little bit, or maybe that's just something with the way the car's handling. He can't really do anything about it. It is a very tricky corner, Spoon. One long corner in theory, but more like a double apex, and you can compromise yourself if you take too fast. If you take the first section a bit too quickly, and you see Dan Thorn there putting a wheel there on the grass, kicking up some lovely dirt into Tom Bellingham's windscreen. Of course, I don't think that'll stop him from being able to see too much, but you can see really how hard Dan Thorn is now trying to put some distance between him and his Indypendables teammate. And now Tom Bellingham has caught right up to him, and he's actually lunged in there as Dan Thorn has made a mistake in the hairpin, and now the two are going to be side by side as they're going to go down to Spoon. Dan Thorn has got a slightly better line there. He's got the racing line, cuts out in front of Bellingham, but now is he going to do to him what Dan Thorn has done to him into Spoon curve? It looks like he is. He's positioning himself for a lunge. Dan Thorn doesn't defend it, and he's forcing himself to go on the outside dirtier line of Spoon, where we've seen him have a few troubles before, and yes, he's been muscled out there onto there, but has he sensibly switched back now, and he's going to have much better straight line speed coming down the straight into 130R. He's also going to have the racing line. Now he might be able to make this move done before 130R, which would be good for him, as in he will be able to take the ideal line for the corner. Yes, he has, although he's kind of run out a bit straight there, so he wasn't able to take the optimum line, but he was in front of Tom Bellingham there, and it wasn't too compromised through 130R, and as you can see, he's been able to keep the position there. But Tom Bellingham is not giving up. He hasn't given up the last few times Dan Thorn has overtaken him, and he's certainly not going to do so now. Oh, taken Dunlop extremely raggedy. They looked like he was, if we could have seen inside his cockpit, we would have probably seen him soaring at the wheel there, desperately trying to get the car through there as quickly as he can. Tom Bellingham has run wide there onto the kind of grasscrete runoff area beyond the curbing, and it actually looks like he's been able to just close up a little bit. Oh, he's gone for a mega lunge. Is that going to work? I don't think it is, but he's certainly given Dan Thorn the fight now and forced him to forget about taking the apex for that corner. Even that late apex we've seen him try a few times, and that will have compromised his speed through that corner, and of course his run here up to Spoon. So Tom Bellingham now is back into play. Just going to follow him through Spoon here. Takes that sort of wide entry so he can get some speed, get some better straight line speed going down here. You can really capitalise on that. He's going to be in the slipstream as well, so every inches, every bit of speed that he can get is going to take. But Dan Thorn seems to have gone for a slightly better setup for the straight and narrow parts, although he's gone wide there through 130R, perhaps demonstrating that. And Tom Bellingham is going to lunge around the outside, and in fact he's made the move stick. That's absolutely incredible there. He lunges around the outside and somehow manages to make it to the apex first. How is Dan Thorn going to have an answer to that? And there indeed you can see the demonstration of what I was saying before. Dan Thorn does appear to have a little more straight line speed. It is a hallmark of his car setup. He does like to have something that can blast by you on the straights and try and defend from you in the corners. But a track like Suzuka, which is very downforce dependent, you can't get away with that too much, although you do have the long straight there down to 130R and the front straight as well. So but because you can see he's not suffering too much in those twisty bits. His car seems to be very mechanically sound when it comes to mechanical grip. Lovely shot there as the two cars going through the Dunlop curve, one of the best corners on this circuit. And Bellingham's gone wide there through Degner again, but Dan Thorn was a bit slow there through the first part of the corner, so not able to capitalise on that really. And Bellingham looks to have about the same gap between himself and Thorn as he did there going through Degner too. And Dan Thorn is trying to take a late apex so he can make the full use of that superior straight line speed as they go through this acceleration zone. Not really much of a corner, even though it is curved, as they go all the way here down into Spoon, one of the more famous parts of the circuit. Of course you see them coming through the undulating curve there onto this wonderful double parted two-part corner, and then the blast up the hill to 130R. As you can see, he's in his slipstream now. Bellingham is aware of him. He's not really moving about to break the toe. He can make one move of course, but Dan Thorn goes straight for the inside. Bellingham is forcing Dan Thorn to take the compromise line through 130R. They're actually going side by side through 130R. Absolutely amazing. Both of them stay both between the white lines, and Tom Bellingham hangs on with slightly better momentum. Oh, but he's gone too deep through the chicane. It's going to compromise his exit there onto the front straight. Dan Thorn saw immediately what he's doing. He's gone for switchback maybe. No, actually he's gone to make his final pit stop, we believe, of the race. What should be his final pit stop, unless anything else goes wrong, of course. So there we go. Thought he was going to have a great opportunity there to retake the position away from Tom Bellingham, but it's actually gone into the pit. So maybe there we saw him struggling on his tyres. Maybe he's decided that now is the time to put on a fresh pair of boots. And Tom Bellingham, now is he going to react to him? And there indeed is Bellingham coming out. That's his final stop of the race. So both Bellingham and Thorn have made their final stops. It's going to see if his in laps or Dan Thorn's out laps have been enough to change anything. And of course this blue McLaren you can hear is a lap ahead, so they're not racing him for position. Let's hope he doesn't interfere a bit too much. And there Tom Bellingham's come out quite a considerable distance ahead of Dan Thorn in fact, and he's got the car in between him and his teammate, so that's great news there for Bellingham. And he's actually let the car by, so he's very generous there, but he's lost a lot of speed doing so, and Dan Thorn is right on his tail. Probably not the best way to do it, because that is the fastest part of the Suzuka S's, although I suppose he thought he didn't want to hold him up a bit too much and interfere with one of the leading cars, but there we go. Of course these two have shuffled a bit out of the order with those pit stops now. There are, it's what was a battle for 11th place is currently now a battle for 13th place. And Dan Thorn has a cheeky little look in there, but Tom Bellingham is a bit too far ahead, although he's gone far too deep into that hairpin, and Dan Thorn has been able to just streak straight away ahead of his teammate. So not a great lap there for Tom Bellingham. Was overly generous in letting the one of the front runners put another lap on him, and now Dan Thorn has been able to take advantage of a mistake he's made at the hairpin, although Dan Thorn a bit too eager there into Spoon Curve. You can see him clipping the grass there a bit. Within the amount of times they've done that, there wouldn't be much grass left there to clip, but there we go. The stuff they grow on racing circuits is necessarily more durable. And there we go. Tom Bellingham is going to have a look into 130R. Forces Dan Thorn off the track there. And going to go side by side into the final chicane. And Tom Bellingham always going to sort of do a reverse lunge there. And wow, what a move. What a move there from Tom Bellingham. Although he has compromised himself a bit on the exit. And Dan Thorn, I think, is going to be able to get past. Actually, no, they're going side by side there over the start-finish line. James Price-Harper, the leader, meanwhile, is coming up behind these two to put them another lap down. So they all have to be mindful of the leader of this race while they're having their battle. Of course, he will have to be mindful of them. Oh, absolutely sensational driving there from Tom Bellingham. Just stuck it down the inside and was able to hang on. His car was just wanted to break away and send him to spin. But now Dan Thorn has cut back at him. And now James Price-Harper now is got to be feeling a bit nervous here, the leader. We've got these two battling teammates, the Indypendables of all teammates. And he's going to have to try and get through them both, knowing that how fierce the battles can be and hoping not to be tripped up. But there you go, Tom Bellingham sees James Price-Harper in time. And of course April Dillon there as well is going to put a further lap down. Oh, Dan Thorn had a messy exit there of Dunlop. And Tom Bellingham's been able to go around the outside of Dagner. Absolutely incredible. How has he managed to overtake a car on the outside of Dagner too? That is absolutely sensational. Puts two wheels on the grass there, but he's still able to keep position ahead of Dan Thorn, who is now wondering how on earth his teammate managed to get ahead of him. But already he's got superior momentum, as we've seen him do time and time again, taking the late apex out that hairpin to have a great blast down to Spoon Curve. Looks like Tom Bellingham's going to cover there for those. No, he has actually left the door open at last second. And Dan Thorn's done a massive lunge there, but has he left the door open? Oh no, he's actually been able to keep ahead slightly of Bellingham. But in doing so, he's compromised his exit of the second part of Spoon. And looks like Tom Bellingham is going to have a go down the straight. And we could see a repeat of what we saw last time into 130R. I see Dan Thorn actually being able to accelerate a bit ahead of Tom Bellingham there due to his superior straight line speed, we believe. And actually they go through 130R one at a time. So we're being spoiled here. We're expecting brilliant lunges and manoeuvres every single corner. And we see Tom Bellingham do what he did at the end of the final of the previous lap, but slightly better there as he's managed to block off Dan Thorn's exit and leave himself with a bit of a fighting chance to stay ahead of him. But look at them, nothing between these two. And Dan Thorn lunges down the inside of Tom Bellingham, saw that coming in. He's tried to have a switch back on him, but not any room there to go. Dan Thorn probably saw that was coming and covered off just enough of racing line to give him a good exit there, but to impede Tom Bellingham's attempt to take back the position. Bellingham there taking the tight line there through Dunlop. Looks like he's slightly better grip in his tyres, or maybe he's just using up his tyres a bit quicker than Dan Thorn to be able to do that, to stay with him. Of course, Tom Bellingham we think has slightly better aerodynamic grip, so that shouldn't be too surprising. It's going to try around the outside. Oh! I think they were both trying to kind of double bluff each other then, weren't really sure what the other was going to do. But here Tom Bellingham now has the line, and it looks like, oh, he's going to see Dan Thorn now has superior speed, and he's going to have the inside line here for Spoon Curve. So as long as he doesn't outbrake himself, as we've seen him do a few times, he should hold the inside line there. But Tom Bellingham is going to try and hang around the outside. Look at that, he's still inches ahead of him as they go onto the back straight. Here's Neil Heatley who's going to put these two another lap down, relative to him of course. But he's not going to be able to get by there. Side by side into 130R again. They both managed to get through there, and Neil Heatley's going to go right past him, so that actually worked out pretty well for all three cars. But Tom Bellingham's going to have a cheeky go around the outside again, going for the outside lunge there and trying to cover off the apex. But he really wants to do that and maybe stop dead on the apex, so Dan Thorn has to kind of second guess and maybe take his foot off the pedal if he thinks it's going to defend what inevitably happens now, as we see him take back the position on the front straight and into turns 1 and 2. Yep, see, Neil Heatley still hasn't been able to jump away from these two, and it's kind of you wouldn't think he was holding up Dan Thorn, because Heatley was able to catch and pass these two, but maybe Dan Thorn maybe losing a bit of aero through the corners, but of course in the long straights he will be able to have the advantage of that slipstream. And Tom Bellingham has gone right off there, and he's gone straight off at Degner 1. Thought he would be able to get back onto the track there before Degner 2, but such is the speed there of that corner that it's very difficult to do so, and he's had to limp around the outside. And now surely the battle must be over between the pair of them. This is a shame. It's been absolutely brilliant, but you can't really ask for any more than that. 3 laps to go. Dan Thorn is catching Campbell Wallace here for the last point, which is 12th position. Wallace, of course, is only on a one-stop strategy, as we've seen, and he's actually going to be trying to save fuel, you would imagine, by now. So Dan Thorn really has the advantage. He's going to have fresher tyres. It looks like he's got more fuel to play with. Campbell Wallace, though, we've seen, is not the easiest person to get by. See there, he's covering the apex, forcing Dan Thorn to slow to a crawl. No way by there, but has he slowed down a bit too much now, as Dan Thorn appears to be right on his rear bumper. We are now starting the penultimate lap of the race. Dan Thorn just, which way is he going to go? Wallace is going to go defensive, but has he left a bit too much? No, he goes to the inside line. Not at the last second. Dan Thorn was able to see what he was doing, but he kept Dan Thorn guessing as to where he was going to go. So Dan Thorn not able to take advantage of slight advantage down the front straight. Campbell Wallace clipping the grass there, really desperately hanging on to this. He doesn't really have to over defend too much. It's not easy to get by the S's, although these Indypendables, as we've seen, are more than willing to go side by side through corners that you just would have thought you would not be able to mount any kind of challenge through. So Dan Thorn taking a tight line there through Dunlop, hounding Campbell Wallace. And he's so close to him on the apex of Degner. Surely it's only a matter of time before he sends one up around the inside, or even indeed around the outside, as it looks like he might do on this occasion. No, he tucks back underneath the rear wing of Campbell Wallace, and the number 64 Kaibutsu Racing is going to go round the outside there to take the late apex we've seen him do so many times before, to try and set up a lunge into Spoon Curve. Now he knows from previous experience, if he makes that move, then he's going to have to make sure he doesn't outbrake himself. And actually looks like he's going to try and go for the outside line there, as he blasts straight by Campbell Wallace. Now is Campbell Wallace going to lunge to defend here? He does. He takes the apex, takes the inside line away from Dan Thorn. Dan Thorn is going to have to hang around the outside here. Oh, look at that. If they didn't touch there, I don't know how they didn't, because they're so close to each other now. And of course this is allowing Tom Bellingham to catch up to these two, so we could see a three-way bout here for the final points taking place, as Dan Thorn managed to get by Campbell Wallace. Does he know? Sorry, that was just a trick of the camera there, as Campbell Wallace stays ahead of him through 130R, forces Dan Thorn to take the long way around 130R and indeed go over the curb in there. And look how much Tom Bellingham has closed up just in that few sequence of corners there. He'll be right with them now, as we are about to start the final lap now. This is the final lap. This is the battle for the last point of the race. Dan Thorn, he's going straight. He goes so close to the wall. They're trying to get by Campbell Wallace. He's going to have the inside line. Surely Dan Thorn is going to lunge down the inside. What a brave defence there from Campbell Wallace. He breaks as late as possible, cuts right across Dan Thorn's bumper. Campbell Wallace, I did say he was hard to get by, and this is some supreme defensive driving from the Scotsman. It's the battle of Celtic Scots versus Cornish, as the Englishman Tom Bellingham is now right behind his teammate once again. Three-way battle on the final lap for the final point of this race. You'd think it was the championship they were going for. Campbell Wallace has gone a bit wider. In fact, no, he looks like he's run out of fuel entirely. What a shame for the Scotsman. He was driving and defending so well, and on the last lap he has run out of fuel. There is Campbell Wallace there, beached, run out of fuel. So Dan Thorn now is in 12th position, so this is still a battle for the final point, but sadly only with 2 cars instead of the 3 we had. And it looks like Dan Thorn is going to be able to stay ahead of him, stay ahead of Tom Bellingham. He's unchallenged through Spoon, which has been the weak part of the lap for Dan Thorn. He usually maybe outbreaks himself a little, seems to find it very difficult, and in fact actually he has taken Spoon slower than his teammate Tom Bellingham. So Tom Bellingham has got the slipstream. Dan Thorn's superior straight line speed might not count for much if he can make use of this toe Tom Bellingham, and he cuts out and is going to go down the inside of 130 once again. But has he gone? Oh, they've both gone way too fast. They've gone way too deep out onto the runoff area of the corner. Tom Bellingham looks like he's got this. He only has to fend off Dan Thorn through this. Oh no, he's got a bit too... It's taken too much speed through the final corner there, and Dan Thorn now is going to... Oh, it's going to go straight to the line. Oh, and I believe Dan Thorn has... Yes, he's just got it. 0.046 seconds says the live timing. You won't see a closer battle for the final point of a race than that. Absolutely incredible stuff.